Hi there, I'm Vincent Boss and I provide dating and self-improvement advice. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing Dumper vs. Dumpee, value switch over time. I provide audio coaching for breakup recovery, trying to get an ex back, attracting someone new, and life coaching. Visit www.dateme.tips for more details. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. So now let's get back into today's podcast. And today we are discussing Dumper vs. Dumpee, value switch over time. So if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back, you need to understand the value system within breakups. In today's podcast, I'll be discussing the 3-point process of the Dumper vs. Dumpee value switch over time. So let's get straight into this, and point number 1 is abundance equals value. So what I'm about to speak about in point number 1, it's important for me to say straight away, I'm speaking about abundance. I'm speaking about within the realms of a relationship and of a breakup. When I'm talking about value, when I'm talking about who is a valuable person and who isn't a valuable person, this isn't meant to be a personal perspective on each individual. This is within the realms of a breakup, okay? So if you fit the persona of what I'm describing here, don't think that I'm saying to you, you're incredibly valuable or you're not valuable. Every single human being is valuable. This isn't about who is a valuable person and who isn't. This is within a breakup. And when we consider a breakup, we have to understand the dynamic. And the dynamic is that somebody ended a relationship. Somebody became the dumper. Somebody decided that they would have better options moving forward without their previous partner. The person that they have dumped, they do not feel right now is somebody is going to be a good partner moving forward in a romantic relationship. Now, this doesn't mean that in the future they might change their mind. In fact, if you keep listening all the way through to today's podcast, you will understand how this switch is possible. But right now, somebody's ended a relationship. They've done this because they've lost a lot of romantic emotional attraction for their now former partner, the dumpee. This means that we have a dumper, we have a dumpee. The person who is the dumper feels that they have an abundance. They have options. They're not scared in most instances to end the relationship because they feel that they will find a better option, a better partner, a better fit for where they are right now in their life, on their journey. Now, of course, there might be some dumpers who end a relationship because they want to go on a single life path. But what I would say is even people who verbally say, I just want time being single, I would argue that these people would change their mind if they found somebody that they felt was a good fit within their current lifestyle. Even somebody who might say, well, I want to be single, I want to travel around the world. Well, if you find somebody who has exactly the same thoughts, feelings and concepts to you on this journey, then I would argue that they would get into a romantic relationship with that person. So, whether or not your ex-dumper has said to you, I want to end a relationship because I want to be single, or maybe they haven't explained their reasoning, or maybe they've said, we're just not a good fit, I want to find a partner which suits my needs and desires more. Whatever they have said to you or not said, you must understand that they are feeling an abundance. They are feeling that they have an abundance of options. They are feeling that they will be absolutely fine. They are feeling that they will be able to move forward in their life feeling happy. They are happy to take the risk of becoming single because they are confident, believe in themselves, and understand that there are other people out there, other possibilities, other situations where they can find happiness. So, abundance equals value. This means the dumper, in this instance, is the high value individual. So, the flip side of this is the dumpee, the person who has unfortunately been dumped. is the low value individual. Now, like I said at the beginning, this is in the realms of a breakup. I'm not saying that you're not a valuable person, Dumpee. I'm saying that in a breakup situation, a Dumpee is the less valuable position because what they wanted didn't happen. They wanted the relationship to continue. It didn't happen. The dumper got what they wanted. The dumper said what they wanted. They got what they wanted. The dumpee likely argued their case and said what they wanted for the relationship not to end. But unfortunately, that was not listened to. That did not happen. Therefore, the dumpee is low value at the time of a breakup, and the dumper is high value with an abundance mindset. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast about dumper versus dumpee, value switch over time. And point number 2 is value takes work. So if you're the dumpee in this position, as I've said, unfortunately, you are in the low value position. And if you want to reconnect with your ex, you must grow your value in their mind. They have already ended a relationship with you when they saw you as a certain value level. They're not going to want to reconnect if you are that same value level or actually decrease further. You need to grow your value to increase the chance of your ex growing romantic emotional attraction for you. Additionally, you should be doing this for you. I would say more importantly, whether you want your ex back or not, you should be trying to grow your value for you, because value goes hand in hand with self-esteem. Value goes hand in hand with confidence. Value equates your happiness with or without your ex. So you should want to grow your value anyway. And additionally to the fact that you could increase the chance of getting your ex back, additionally to the fact that you could feel happy and more confident within yourself, you will of course also be more attractive to other people. And if you grow your value, that means you will grow your attraction net. You would have been a certain value level when you originally attracted your dumper. Now, your dumper has ended the relationship, and this could be either because you stagnated in growth or potentially you lost value. Either way, if you can grow your value higher than it ever was before, then you will grow your attraction net to the point of where you can attract people even better than your ex. When you attracted your ex, you were both at a certain value. If you can grow your value more than that point, you'll be able to attract a better quality of person. So as you can see, Dumpees, value is important to grow, but value takes work. Now, if you want advice and support on your unique position, if you want support, if you want me to be your coach and your teammate during this difficult time, then you may want to consider my audio coaching service where me and you can speak one-on-one about your specifics. They're going to be different somewhat, I'm sure, to the generalized advice I have to give in my podcasts. Please go to my website, www.dateme.tips, for more information on my audio coaching service, where I can become your coach and your teammate. So as I was saying, growing value takes work. But what can you do to do such? Well, I would say that you need to be making sure that you don't procrastinate. Now, that doesn't mean you can't rest. Some people think that means you've got to be going 24/7. No, absolutely not. Rest is very important. However, if you feel that you're sitting around when you don't need to be sitting around, then that is procrastinating. Now, that can be in a physical sense. You need to be getting out there, going for a walk, having regular exercise, and that kind of side of a coin. But on the other side of a coin, it can be things within your mentality. It might be that you need to be working on certain elements of yourself. Perhaps you are a needy person. Perhaps you know that you need to work on your mindset. Perhaps you realize you need professional help to support you with your feelings of jealousy, your feelings of anxiety. Those types of things are included when I say you need to put in the work. But on top of exercise, on top of mindset, how about general skill set? Are you somebody who wants to get a better job? Are you somebody who wants to start your own business? Are you somebody who wants to be more creative? All of these things take work. Maybe you want to grow your skill set and become somebody who can play the guitar. Well, if you are, you need to make that phone call, you need to go online, you need to book that guitar lesson. Again, don't wait around. Don't think, well, I can't be bothered to do anything today. No, start the process of growing your value. Become a version 2.0 of yourself. Book that lesson. Join that yoga class. Consider joining a college class if you want to improve your chances of that promotion at work. You know what I'm saying? Value takes work. Sitting around doing nothing is not going to increase your value. And it's important for me to say that because some people misunderstand when I suggest that people implement my version of a no contact rule. So if you're not aware, the no contact rule is something that lots of people suggest you implement if you have been dumped and want to try to get your ex back. However, there are many different versions of a no contact rule that you can find online, and I believe that my version will give you the best possible chance of success. So I suggest that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, ring the bell for notifications, and check out the playlist entitled The No Contact Rule so you can fully immerse yourself in my version of the rule. And although the main principle of such is in most instances if you've been dumped to never contact your ex again unless they contact you first, that doesn't mean you're sitting at home doing nothing. And that is why I'm talking about value takes work. If you implement my version of a no contact rule, then you'll be doing the work whilst you implement no contact. So although no contact also increases your value in your ex's mind, and if you want to understand more about that side of things, then again check out that playlist on my YouTube channel where you will understand everything about my version of the rule. But aside from that, it doesn't mean that you're just going to be sitting around. You're going to be gaining value through my version of a rule, but also gaining value by putting in the work and improving yourself every single day. Becoming a better person today than you were yesterday, and a better person tomorrow than you are currently today. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast about dumper versus dumpee, value switch over time. And point number 3 is the switch can take place. So what we've seen so far is the breakup took place and there is an abundance mindset in your ex-dumper's mind, showcasing them as the more valuable individual. At that stage, at the beginning of this process, you as a dumpee was the lower value option. Now, if you put in the work, this is when you're going to be changing things around. Point number 2, in essence, was the mid-game. The effort you put in the mid-game will showcase itself within the end game. And point number 3 is that end game. So depending on the work the dumpee has done, shows the possibility of the value switch. A dumper's journey after the breakup is a fascinating one. They often go into a single honeymoon period where they are living their life to the full, experiencing all of the things they couldn't within the relationship. But after a certain period of time, often between 6 and 12 months, a dumper will naturally reflect. Now, one of the main reasons why a dumper will reflect is the point that everything they've been living so far doesn't feel as exciting 6 to 12 months down the line as it did initially. And when you are feeling a little bit stagnated, when you're feeling a little bit bored, you do naturally start to look back. Now, you as a dumpee might be thinking, well, my ex-dumper might be with somebody new right now. And although that is a possibility, I would say it's unlikely. It's very hard to find a long-term committed relationship with somebody who is long-term compatible. And I would suggest that within the first year of a breakup taking place, it is very unlikely for either a dumper or dumpee to find somebody new who is long-term compatible. So I would say it is unlikely that your ex-dumper is in a position where they are in a long-term compatible relationship at this time. 6 to 12 months down the line, they will often think to themselves, I'm single, everything I'm doing right now feels kind of old and boring. What am I doing with my life? I had a relationship 6 to 12 months ago. That person loved me. They didn't want this relationship to end. I've ended it. And maybe the grass wasn't greener on the other side. So, what happens now? Well, your ex-dumper may be at a point where they consider reaching out to you. They may be at a point where they start doing research onto you regarding friends of friends, social media. They may be at a point where they go online dating and they see your online dating profile on that very app. Now, if they see you around town, if they see you on social media, if they see you online dating, if they speak to friends of friends, they will be finding out what, if anything, is different about you. And you've got to understand as a dumpee, you can't be the same person that you was when you were dumped. Because unfortunately, that person wasn't connecting well anymore at the time of a breakup. You've got to show growth. You've got to show you've grown your value. And if you have, this is where the value switch can take place. Because as the dumper is starting to feel like, I'm single, I've had a few on and off dates, nothing really worked out, I'm starting to feel a little lonely again, they might see their dumpee has grown in so many ways. They might see their dumpee is online dating with an incredible profile mentioning things that the dumper didn't even know about. Skill sets, experiences, situations which show the dumpee has grown. If the dumper is starting to feel unsure about their decision and they believe that the dumpee has been working on themselves, the value switch can take place. The dumper's value can start to shrink. The dumper's value can start to lower, and the dumpee's value can start to grow. It can grow over time. It's growing from point number 2 onwards. It's growing higher and higher and higher, hand in hand with self-esteem, hand in hand with confidence. The dumpee is starting to get attention from new people. Whether or not they want to date others, they're getting that attention. That produces additional confidence. And what do we see there? We see a scenario where the dumpee starts to feel abundance. They start to realise that with or without their dumper, they can find somebody else. They have options. And what did we say in point number 1? Abundance equals value. The dumpee is grown, the dumpee has options, the dumper is likely not grown. Very few dumpers put in the work, very few dumpers feel they need to put in the effort. They're probably stagnated, they're probably single, they're probably feeling bored in what they're doing in life, they're probably missing a relationship, they're probably going places with friends who have now got together with new people and maybe they're now the only single person in their friendship group. Whereas the dumpee has already gone through the grind. The dumpee now understands who they are, where they're going, and what life they want to live. At this stage, the value switch can be complete. The dumpee can be the high-value individual, and the dumper can be the low-value individual. And what might this mean? It might mean that the dumper starts contacting the dumpee starts chasing the dumper starts playing into the dumpee's hands of where the dumpee would like to be. And that is where the dumpee wants the choice. Does the dumpee respond and try to reconnect? Does the dumpee say thanks but no thanks? Does the dumpee not even reply? If you live your life to the full as a dumpee, if you grow as a person every single day, there is every chance that in the future, the value switch can take place. If you believe that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description.